Hi, this is Chantel. I'm back again to talk to you about early civilization. The defining line between prehistory and early civilization is the written word and our ability to understand why and how things were done and when based on writing. So, this is one of the earliest examples we have of the written word. This is a form of writing called cuneiform. This was a clay tablet that was found in Kish, Iraq. This piece is about 4.5 inches tall and was created in about 3000 BCE. Modern historians have been able to decipher and understand that the various markings on this are a form of writing, and they have been able to translate much of the cuneiform text into English for further study. This is from one of the Akkadian rulers. This is the head of the Akkadian ruler Sargon I, again found in Iraq from about 2350 BCE. It's a bronze sculpture that's about 12 inches high. It was using the lost wax process, wherein you create the sculpture in wax. You create a casting of it, usually in plaster or mud, or like a other composite similar to that. And then you pour the hot bronze into the mold. And in the process, the hot molten metal melts the wax, and the wax flows out as the bronze takes its place. A fascinating process. These You'll see in a lot of the sculptures that we're going to look at throughout early history that the eye sockets are empty. Um, we're pretty sure that these would have had pieces set in them, either wood or stone or ivory, sometimes of jewels, to take the place of the eyes in the sculpture. This is a piece of architecture called the Ziggurat of Ur. It comes from Iraq from about 2150 to 2050 BCE. It's a huge piece of architecture. You can see a person here. This is about 210 feet across, 150 feet deep, and about 100 feet tall. It's got these staircases that go up throughout. It could have possibly been, a government place, a gathering place. Quite fascinating. This ziggurat is still extant. It's still there in Iraq, um, and quite an amazing piece of architecture, especially considering that they didn't have cranes and large trucks and things like that to help in the construction process. It's also fascinating because this structure, which is slightly pyramidal in shape with the stairs on the various sides, and it's very similar to the Pyramid of the Sun and other structures like that throughout the world. This one is in Mexico and was built about 150 BCE. It's about 768 feet on each side and about 210 feet tall. But you can see the very similar, stair steps going up to the top, and very similar structure as the Ziggurat of Ur. This is an example of the Ishtar Gate in Babylon. This is a reconstructed portion of the Ishtar Gate. There were 7 of these gates around Babylon. They're made out of brick, and they have ceramic tile on the facade, which includes these wonderful pictures of the animals, um, all in this bright blue, um, which is really quite challenging to create in a ceramic glaze. And this is I believe it's in the British Museum, and it's a reconstruction. So many of the pieces were found, but then they rebuilt it according to examples from other gates, etc. Um, but it's pretty huge, and this is an artistic depiction of what the gate may have looked like in its place. So what we're seeing over here would have just been this structure here. They're pretty sure that that it expanded through, and that these were attached to the walls that surrounded Babylon. Quite beautiful and very detailed. Here are some pieces from Egypt, ancient Egypt. We've got the mask of Tutankhamun that was found in his tomb that was unearthed in the 1920s. Um, it was made in about 1323 BCE. It's gold and it's inlaid with stone and very intricately made. This mask was found on, oh, excuse me, sorry about that, on the mummified uh, remains of what we believe to be King Tut. It was interesting, though, as I was putting things together, I came across an article, which I've attached, that speculates that this mask may have been built for Nefertiti instead of King Tut. And here is a sculpture of Nefertiti from about 1355 BCE. But it's an interesting read, and it sort of brought home to me the idea that, again, we don't know all of the answers to these pieces. There are a lot of things that are still speculation, and trying to understand why and how certain things were made, even though we have a lot of written text which explains some of it to us. Um, and then, last but not least, on this segment is the Pyramids of Giza, a great architectural feat. These are the three biggest pyramids found in Egypt, but there are several other pyramids found throughout, used as burial tombs. The center one is the Great Pyramid of Giza. It's the Pyramid of Khufu, the pharaoh. It's from about 2550 BCE. It's approximately 481 feet tall. They think that it may have been covered with tiles, and much more gloriously ornamented on the outside. But again, we don't have examples of that, so we're not positive. But this was built for the pharaoh Khufu. This one was built for the pharaoh Khafre, and this one was built for the pharaoh Menkaure. And then you can see some additional small pyramidal structures in the front. Again, pretty fascinating architecture for the period. And actually, for now, it would still be pretty fascinating architecture. So that finishes our early civilization section. And go ahead and watch the videos I've attached. I've got some on Egypt, and on that article, and some other interesting pieces out there. I hope you enjoy them, and have a good day. Thank you.